Love Mondays on Sportsbit. Pauly and Teddy, we wrap it up on Monday with the deep dive. Dave Mason, Bet Online on Tuesdays to recap how everything transpired over the weekend. Horrible beats. You don't think Chris knew the point spread here, Wisconsin? I was watching this live. Maryland was catching 24.5, and the total was 50.5 or 51. 35-13 Wisconsin with 38 seconds left, and he kicks a meaningless field goal. What is he doing? He kicks the field goal, so Maryland and under becomes Wisconsin and the over. They're up 22 points with a couple minutes left. They're taking timeouts on offense, Teddy.
I mean, that was one that really was bizarre. And I found nothing in any paper from any coach's quote saying what we was thinking, what he was doing, because it wasn't even like it was 4th and long. It was 4th and 1. You're Wisconsin. It's the fourth quarter against a tired defense. The Badgers have done this 100 times. They punch the ball up the gut. They get the first down. They take a knee. Ball game over. Yep. Not on Saturday. Brutal. Brutal if you had the Terps. Tough if you had the under. Really bizarre finish, and that's all we can say about it. And when it's bizarre, we got to point it out. And this one was bizarre, Pauly. A bad beat, no question.
Side and total there. Side and total. This was like Florida and Vandy. Indiana, Allen, the head coach, tells his players to give up the touchdown, and Scott from Michigan State runs it in anyways. He doesn't fall down. The only way you could lose, you give the ball back to Indiana. Indiana catching 6.5, 10-9 Michigan State with about a minute and a half left. Scott breaks it. He scores. Indiana hasn't moved the ball. 17-9 final. And then look at this one with the total. The West Virginia Baylor total, 68.5. It was 17-6 at the half. 51 second half points puts it over. 38-36 West Virginia final.
I mean, given the nature of those two offenses, in my mind, that one's not. It's a tough beat, no question. You got under 68.5 at the close. You got under 71.5 at the open. You're feeling pretty good about your wager. Didn't come through, no question. But those are two potent offenses. For Michigan State, Indiana, here's a case where the coach legitimately told his players, don't cover the point spread. I mean, he didn't say it that way. He said, allow this touchdown. But that's tough, man. It's a 1-point game. In theory, Sparty's supposed to get the first down, fall down, take a knee to run out the clock, because the only way they can lose is to score a touchdown and give Indiana the ball and have Indiana come down and send the game into overtime. So that's what Sparty's supposed to do. Didn't work out that way. LJ Scott, 18 yards for the TD, and Indiana couldn't do anything down the stretch. Tough beat if you had the Hoosiers plus the points.
A lot of bad bets out there. Friday night, Colorado State took money, 6.5 up to 10. Won by 3 at New Mexico. A lot of Miami money from 14 to 18. It's a close game in the fourth quarter. They hang on to beat Syracuse, but they didn't cover. Wake, a lot of Wake money from 7.5 down to 3.5. Lost by 14 at Ja Tech. Arizona, appointment television now with Tate. 3-0 since he became a starter. It was kind of a tough beat. All they needed was one stop. They couldn't get it. There's a lot of steam here. Opened 1, closed 5. They won 45-44 in double overtime. Oklahoma can't be laying that with their horrible defense. The under took a lot of money. Delton, the backup in K-State, moved the ball. Lost 42-35. And the fraudulent Michigan Wolverines outgained 506 to 269. Yikes. They took a lot of money from 10 down to 7.5. Routed in Happy Valley, 42-13.
Yeah, so two of those games I want to talk about. Firstly, Miami, Syracuse. Syracuse has now been really good for the last month. I mean, not kind of good, not competitive. They've been standing toe-to-toe with the likes of NC State and LSU and Miami, all on the road. Keep your eye on this Orange program. I was very impressed. And remember, Eric Dungy wasn't good in that game against Miami. He probably had he had his worst game of the season. And they were still in that contest, despite all of the miscues that they had in that ball game. And I mean, settle down with the Michigan hatred and it's like the Michigan loses a game and the media goes insane. Oh, fire Harbaugh! Like that's going to solve the problem. This is
lose 4 games. It's unacceptable.
It's supposed to be a rebuilding year for
games.
Michigan. It's supposed to be a rebuilding year for Michigan, and guess what? It's turning out to be a rebuilding year for Michigan. No panic. No, Harbaugh's the right guy for the program. Settle down, Beavis. This is going to go, it's not like Rome wasn't built in a day. And I've seen all this, Hoke had the same record as Harbaugh through 33 games. Great. I'll still take Harbaugh.
Get a quarterback, will you? Jesus, you shouldn't go to overtime with Indiana as well. Big disappointment. Thumbs down, Yankees. Thumbs down on Harbaugh, right, so far. UAB took money. They've been a great story since they came back, but Charlotte gets the first win. They go for 2 in the win in overtime. UAB 6.5 to 10. Charlotte won 25-24. Bad for the books. Connecticut from 7 down to 4 beat Tulsa. If it just couldn't fall 3, and it did. Western Michigan from 4 down to 2, won by 3 in overtime against Eastern Michigan. And look at this. East Carolina took money 7.5 down to 5. They beat BYU at home. They thumped them. BYU 0-8 against the spread this year. Yikes.
And not just 0-8 against the spread. I mean, they've been losing on a weekly basis ATS by significant margins. When you have a team that's 0-8 against the spread like now, like the BYU Cougars, betting markets know no one's going to bet this team but the wise guys. So you're going to see some inflated or actually deflated spreads on BYU. Check out the back half of their schedule. They play one weakling after the next, which is not atypical of an independent trying to get games in October and November. But the rest of them, I mean, look at UCF. They took a ton of money against Navy, 7.5 up to 10. They won by exactly 10. So anyone that took the points with Navy at the kickoff ended up pushing as well. That was a bad result for the house. Mississippi State blowing out Kentucky. They took a ton of money, -10 up to -14.5. Auburn bet up from -13 to -17 against Arkansas. Blew them out. The over there took money as well. That a very bad game for the house. And the under-the-radar coaching story of the year, Pauly, what Jeff Tedford has done at Fresno State so far. Covered every single point spread, a program that was absolutely abysmal last year. 100% ATS this season. Fresno from +10 to +7 against San Diego State. They won that game 27-3 in outright fashion over the Aztecs. Fresno's developing a pretty big bandwagon here in Las Vegas.
Won 1 game last year. They're going to get in the Mountain West Conference Championship game, barring an epic collapse. Bama took money 34 up to 37. What new? They won 45-7. Yards 604 to 108. Tennessee hasn't scored an offensive touchdown in a month. And the only touchdown was a pick 6. And the kid from Tennessee with the double bird to the Alabama fans. Unbelievable. Butch Jones is a travesty. Hey, guys, for the full video, go to sbrpicks.com.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.